the bridge, the metro line, the pylons, they are ready. पेंट मार दिया, ready हो गया, एकदम चकाचक हो गया, स्टेशन विशन चल रहा है. आप उसके नीचे देखो क्या हो रहा है. On the median, वहाँ पे जो कुछ प्लांट्स लगे हैं, उनका हालत देखो. I was just looking at those plants, the poor plants and the poor palms over there, which are dying, which have died also. They have died. People who own nurseries, who supply plants, they say कि हम भी landscape करते हैं. Right? Okay, I agree that yes, designing a garden is a part of, is a type of work that landscape architects do.
Right.
But again, as we discussed, it's not about only beautifying a place. That word is very dangerous.
Yeah.
Everything else goes out of the window.
Correct.
All the sensibility or sensitivity that you apply to nature or ecology, that is just, it becomes non-existent.
Correct.
So they said कि हम भी landscape करते हैं. So we give end-to-end solution. मतलब we have plants and we plant it on the site. It's completely the reverse. They don't have the kind of climate or weather conditions to enjoy that green throughout the year.
Yeah.
In fact, we can enjoy it for, let's say, 8 to 9 months. At least 8 months of the year we can enjoy the outdoor spaces. Okay, if they are designed well or maintained well, we can definitely do that. They can't. They have 3 months to enjoy. We have 9 months to enjoy. It's exactly the opposite.
Yeah.
And those 3 months, the way they enjoy that space, and it is accessible throughout the year. And it changes also, right? When it's snowing, you just see a white carpet on that, and children are playing over there. So the access at every let's say city level, neighborhood level, okay, is amazing.
Hello and welcome to Landscape Guru, a podcast where we explore people, ideas and stories that shape the world of landscape architecture. In today's episode, we were joined by architect Abhishek Chakraborty, someone whose work is rooted in simplicity, strong fundamentals and minimal intervention. We talked about reading the landscape before designing it and why everyday green spaces should be seen as an essential urban infrastructure and much more. So, if you are someone who is interested in knowing how our cities and open spaces really work, this episode will offer a grounded and honest perspective. So, stay tuned till the end. Hello, Abhishek sir. Welcome to the show. So we will start with your background. So tell us about your journey in architecture and what made you pursue masters in landscape.
First of all, thank you for inviting me. So, I graduated in 2008. That is, I did my PR.
Okay.
So there was no plan of action as such as to whether I'm going to do a master's in landscape or not. After working for a year and a half, I actually did a course in post-graduation course in sustainable architectural studies.
Okay.
Okay, and this was in the UK.
Okay.
That was the time of a recession was going on worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
And my mentors told me this is a good time to learn because my pure intention was to learn.
Okay.
And sustainability at that time was a newfound word. People were exploring about sustainability. And so I did that 2 years over there. And then I was back here because my intention was to learn. Then further work for another 5 years over here, practiced in a small firm. And then because of some circumstances, I went into teaching. So teaching has always, I was always interested in teaching.
Okay.
Okay, so I
So you directly started with teaching. You did not work after your specialization.
I worked for 5 years after
specialization. Okay.
Yeah. So I worked for 5 years. I was working in an office. And then I started 2015, late 2015, 16 onwards, I started practicing on my own also. I started doing projects on my own, small projects, with whatever training I had got. And then I was teaching as well at the same time. Okay. So then it was a time where for career advancement in teaching. So I was told that it is necessary to do a master's in because the time duration of the course that in the UK is generally for 12 months.
Okay.
So as per the UGC norms, you have to do a 24 months full-time course. If it is a part-time, you do a 36 months. But I was not really convinced about just doing a course for the sake of doing it, because I wanted to do something that I really like. Landscape was not in the picture anywhere, first of all. Okay. And I was also not a kind of student in college that ever had any special interest in this subject. Okay. Maybe now, if I look back and think, maybe it is because the way it was taught, probably.
Yeah.
Okay. And then somebody, one of my mentors, actually is a senior colleague in that college where I was teaching. He told me that if you want to really do something, learn about sustainability, okay, then you should explore landscape as the subject. Okay. Because before that, I used to look at sustainability through the lens of building design.
Right.
Even the course that I was in spoke about building, then technology.
Much technical also.
Technology oriented, exactly.
Correct.
So then I was like taken aback, like landscape and sustainability, and I know how is it. So I knew nothing about landscape. That worked to my advantage in a way. I enrolled for the course because I had trust in that mentor.
Correct.
I trusted him. I enrolled for the course, and then it was a very good, beautiful journey where I was thoroughly enjoyed the entire process. Thanks to my mentors in landscape course at LS Raija. And then that's how I completed a post-graduation in landscape, and then started practicing landscape projects since 2022 after graduation.
Yeah, I can totally understand this and relate to your situation when you pursued the masters and you had no clue about landscape, because many students come here for interviews. I have observed that they always say that they are interested in landscape, but they have not really read or learned enough about what exactly happens in the professional practice.
Correct.
So from your perspective, what is it to be a landscape architect today?
Yeah, so see, in today's time, the current time, I think it is an absolute challenge to be a landscape architect. Especially, I'll talk about from the point of view of our city, Mumbai.
Okay.
That's it. Okay, the kind of infrastructure projects that are going on, and shrinking open spaces, and on the other hand, because of these infrastructure projects, we are creating urban voids, you could say, degraded land, encroaching on ecologically sensitive areas. I think now the challenge is to educate people, starting from authorities to children.
Right.
Okay. Actually, I would say children to authorities, the other way around, because it starts at at the childhood level.
Right.
You understand what your environment is and what the ecology is, what biodiversity is, what these things mean. In some small way, we have also gone through this process as part of our culture, because it is imbibed in our culture to respect nature. But somewhere when it comes to the other end of the spectrum, which is the authorities, or let's say the professionals like us, even not just authorities, not blaming anybody, but we are also part of the entire thing as architects. Even my fellow architect friends, with whom we work, because let's say they have architectural projects, and they ask us to do the landscape. So people are just looking at it as a blank canvas around the building, which we have to fill.
Right.
Because it's looking barren. Because it's looking barren,
Right.
So it's like you want a painting on the canvas, right? So there also we step in to educate them as landscape architects.
Right.
Our role should be that what is landscape about? Okay, it is not about placing outdoor features or trees and plants and things like that. But it is a more holistic approach towards the project. In fact, we tell them, like I've started doing this with some of my friends, let's say my colleagues of BR who appoint us for doing the landscape in their projects. I've started telling them that you get us involved in the beginning of the project itself.
Right.
Okay. I mean, it's not for my professional, let's say, selfishness. I'm saying this. I'll say I'll do this part for free.
Correct.
Let's say. Okay.
Because many of the time it is perceived as just the planting or
It's
the
an afterthought.
last layer that is to be added to the space.
Correct.
That will make the space look more beautiful.
Correct.
Or pleasant.
Beautiful, beautifying. This is a word which has been attached to landscape architecture. Okay, how to beautify? I want to beautify this. Okay, but I tell them that this is much more than that. And actually, I show them the process. That what are the different layers that we are looking at. You know, we are looking at water, we are looking at soil, we are looking at landforms, we are looking at the climate, we are looking at the sun, we are looking at the kind of plants that are suitable for this area, the history of the land, okay, and the surrounding area also, the larger picture, not just your plot, where the plot is located, where your building is going to be situated in your plot, how the water flows. That plays a very important role, especially for more challenging sites. Most of the architecture work is not happening in the city. What is happening is just bridges and buildings. I mean the high rises. But what the kind of challenging topography you get in the farmhouses, or people are doing projects outside the city. So all these things, because then there are many of them are greenfield projects also.
Right.
Or let's say it's a brownfield project. So understanding the land and the entire ecology of that also becomes important. Right.
So in this process of educating people about the entire process, what is the important aspects of landscape architecture is generally misunderstood, or maybe they're invisible to people?
So what is invisible to people are, I would say, are the systems, the natural systems we don't see.
Right.
Nobody is seeing the natural system in place. Okay, or you don't see the dynamic nature of landscape.
Correct.
Okay, so when I say systems, is what you see is a product. We don't see the process. I mean, we the sense people in general. Okay, so if like I said, if you're looking at the geology, or looking at soil, or looking at landform, landform is impacting. Or let's say the topography impacts how water flows. Okay, it impacts erosion. Okay, it impacts. The kind of geology can impact water population, whether you're able to hold water, whether tap into the groundwater, right? Then if you're looking at let's say the history of the land, what was happening in this land before? Okay, has any degradation happened, or was it used for farming or some other purpose? Or in cases of land encroachment, is this a reclaimed land? Historical mapping, if you do, so these, and then when you do landscape design, the true sense, if you're doing landscape, practicing landscape, the kind of decisions that you take, if they are based or if they're informed by these different layers, like we get this read about these layers in Ian McHagg's work. That is the who was like the founding father of GIS. Right. So if you look at these different layers, climate, soil, landforms, vegetation, and then the output, what you do, what you design, is an output which has gone through this process, or an outcome of this process.
Right.
Okay. Then it is, let's say, allowing the natural systems to work. Okay, the way they should work. Right. And not imposing what we want on that land. Correct. So, but when you do this, there is an active ecology. The biodiversity enhances. Okay, so these are natural systems. The symbiotic relationship between the animals and the plants, let's say the birds and the trees with the shrubs, let's say. So these kind of systems which are there in nature, understanding that, and if you design with that, that is invisible to people. Right. We only see the outcome. Like, okay, there's a garden which has been designed. Okay, there is this tree, there is this water fountain, there is this natural feature. Right. So, but what is the system behind it, or whether there is a system behind what has been done? Right. That I think is missing.
So, with this growing awareness around ecology and climate, a lot of what we still see today is the quick fix landscaping, like the beautification, as we said. So there is a real difference between beautification and true landscape design. So will this gap or will this understanding change in people, students also, for that matter? Because in the projects when we are working in colleges, uh, they also look at all these projects or open spaces as aesthetical treatment rather than understanding these systems. So, like, how do we develop it or how do we change it?
One is patience. Point number one.
Absolutely.
Okay, patience on our part. If I want a change to happen, I have to be patient. Okay. Second is, as I said, awareness and education at various levels. So, see, this is also one of the reasons why I'm still engaged in teaching. Okay. Is because when I went to teach, when I was not a landscape architect, let's say.
Okay.
My intention was, there are many things which in the last 7-8 years, doing a course abroad, working in the field actively for 6-7 years in Bombay, now practicing on my own, and whatever I had learned in college. So I could see the gaps. And then I thought that, okay, these are the things which, should be taught to them. Same with this. Now, when I went through this process of learning landscape architecture, then I came to know about, what the difference, the vast difference in perception of people looking at that this is going to be some beautification project.
Correct.
That is what their perception of landscape is. And we don't blame anybody. Okay? Because I was also in the same group before. Correct? Now I'm on the other side. Now it is my responsibility to bridge that gap.
Correct.
If I don't do that, then I should not be complaining also. Right? So if I see there is a gap, let's try to bridge that. So as I said, it can happen various levels. So college is one level,
right,
and which is a crucial level, because these are students of architecture who are going to graduate. So let's say these are students of BArch. They are not doing a specialization in landscape, but landscape is a subject which they learn in one of the years, right? So that is the chance, that is the opportunity that we have to tap in and then sensitize them, educate them. What you teach or how you teach is very important. Like I said, probably I never thought about landscape. Learning more about landscape is maybe because the way I was taught.
Yeah, same with me.
Correct. So now if I have been taught by my mentors in a certain way and I have learned something and I feel that this is important, now can I give it back to them, back to the people who are going to get into the profession? Doesn't matter, they're not going to practice landscape as a profession. It's absolutely perfect.
Yeah, but at least they develop that perspective.
Correct, because now what I'm doing, while we are practicing, I'm trying to educate my peers, my classmates, who are not landscape architects, who are doing architecture projects, which is fine. But I'm educating them because they also did not get that, when we were in college, right? So now I'm trying to do that at that level. So I also do this at the college level.
That's great.
So that is important. That I think this patience and this education has to, and to continue this, to educate people or to bring in awareness, patience is required.
Correct. Now, for many people, access to greenery, I mean, in the city level, is occasional park visits or a weekend getaway, and your everyday neighborhood remains largely grey and hard. So in that context, can access to green open spaces be seen as essential infrastructure, urban infrastructure, rather than a luxury?
This I felt personally. I realized this when I was in the UK.
Okay.
And since you mentioned urban infrastructure.
Yeah.
So infrastructure is what? Let's say infrastructure is something which facilitates, or helps you complete a task. Let's say the infrastructure could be a flyover, which is helping you to avoid a junction signal and taking you from point A to point B. Infrastructure is road, infrastructure is an airport, infrastructure could be a dam to store water, let's say, or a canal. So we look at these greys as infrastructure, but we don't look at green as an infrastructure because, again, going back to the point, lack of understanding or lack of exposure to that. So apart from so if you say the green infrastructure, when we say, what is the green areas doing? Are they helping in climate change, to reduce the impact of climate change? How? By reducing urban heat island, let's say, by resilience against floods, flood mitigation, let's say. Okay, surface helping in let's say reducing surface runoff with a lot of paved areas and roads. With this grey infrastructure, what we are doing is increasing surface runoff, let's say, changing the course of water, the way water flows, and then we have floods. Okay, or not being able to identify that this is a river and classifying it as a nala, which has happened in our city, and we have all been victims of that. So after that, the awareness comes. So either it takes us a big catastrophe to identify or learn. So this learning can happen through education also, and awareness, right? So it can facilitate these things. On the other front, not just these, but let's say mental well-being. Okay, infrastructure which can be safe or can be healthy also. So if there's a park, going to a park or going to see not just a park, even greenery around you. If I just see greenery outside, a tree outside my window right now, okay, so what kind of impact it has on our mental health? Okay, taking a walk or taking a stroll in a garden, let's say, or on a street which is at least which is where you can walk safely, and which has trees, tree line, and which has plants, which has a healthy environment, let's say. Okay, which has less, it is cutting off noise, let's say, it is reducing dust. We have all these problem issues we have in our city. So it can be termed as infrastructure, right? So that becomes an infrastructure. It's facilitating something, right? So this, this has to be a part of everyday life. It cannot be something which is fenced off. Because I'm really, I'm sorry, I feel sorry, because when I see gardens in our cities, they are all as if somebody is going to invade them, and maybe true also, because the way, as I said earlier, we are eating up into the open spaces. So we always fence it off. कि हाँ, ये plot, ये garden है. Okay, but this changed when I was in the UK, and I saw that the green and the grey, they just merge into each other. I mean, there's no need to protect a green space because people probably appreciate and value.
Correct.
It's completely the reverse. They don't have the kind of climate or weather conditions to enjoy that green throughout the year. In fact, we can enjoy it for, let's say, 8 to 9 months. At least 8 months of the year, we can enjoy the outdoor spaces. Okay, if they are designed well or maintained well, we can definitely do that. They can't. They have 3 months to enjoy. We have 9 months to enjoy. It's exactly the opposite. And those 3 months, the way they enjoy that space, and it is accessible throughout the year. And it changes also, right? When it's snowing, you just see a white carpet on that, and children are playing over there. So the access at every let's say city level, neighborhood level, okay, is amazing, which is completely missing over here, which has to be a part of our everyday life.
Correct. So majority of these problems, urban problems, are in our country. It is catered through maybe policy solutions or engineering solutions, and we often forget about landscape role, what plays in this. So in that context, if I mean, the landscape architect, where do they fit in this? Like in public areas or public spaces, as we spoke about, the gardens are fenced because we design it and we keep it closed because many people
there
misuse
is a time
it.
assigned.
Correct. There is a time assigned. Then the lights gets stolen.
हाँ.
All the bollards are wiped off in a night. So of course this is perspective and usage of people. But landscape architect, how do they fit in all this process as practitioners?
See, I think landscape architects till now are in the back seat. Okay. Or not even on the bus. Okay.
Absolutely.
We are not even on the bus. Or even if we are in the bus, we are in the last seat.
Correct.
सब होने के बाद, now you come, you put some plants and you go. There are many things to this, many angles or many examples that I can think of. In fact, today when I was driving down from New Bombay till here, it's a long journey, and I had ample of time. And I've been here a couple of times, and when I was driving, I was realizing that our city does not have a policy or a strategy for landscape.
Yes.
Let's say, now I will talk at the policy level. I'll address this at various stages if you agree.
Yeah.
Policy level pe, does our city, if we say that BMC has a garden cell, let's say, which is a fact, do we have a policy or strategy for the entire city that how the landscape should be of this city? Simple thing. अगर आपका road divider है, अभी metro projects have come. I was looking at this metro line which is going on Powai, JVLR पे metro line बन गया. Now I see most of the metro work is over, at least half the stretch work is going on. Wherever it is complete, and we say complete. Now when I'm saying complete, even me, look at me. Now when I'm saying complete, I'm looking at the bridge, the metro line, the pylons, they are ready. Paint मार दिया, ready हो गया, एकदम चकाचक हो गया, station चल रहा है. आप उसके नीचे देखो क्या हो रहा है. On the median, वहाँ पे जो कुछ plants लगे हैं, उनका हालत देखो. I was just looking at those plants, the poor plants and the poor palms over there, which are dying, which have died also. They have died. I was looking at the soil on which they are planted. I was looking at the condition of the median, the concrete, the curbs. I mean, so all the importance has gone into the metro line, into the maybe the road. I would say they have not even looking at the road. Now everybody is looking at the metro line. The road is in a horrible condition. The city is in a complete mess because of roads. The roads and the footpaths. Footpaths तो non-existent हो रहा है धीरे धीरे.
Even if they exist, then there is a line of car park exist along that. So
park.
You cannot go on the footpath only.
Sewers are open. Okay. That's there. That's the grey infrastructure. Now let's say if I'm focusing on the plants, what is the condition of plants? What is the condition of landscape? Now, few months back I was in Singapore, and my eyes were on the median, just the median, nothing else. I'm looking at the median from the airport till let's say the hotel, and throughout the city. I'm looking at the pavements. I'm looking at the plantation at the curbs, plantation on the medians. The areas which are not owned by a private entity. It's the people's ownership.
Right.
You are paying tax. It's your place. It's your road. It's your curb. It's your median. It's your pavement. It's your planted on that stuff with your money.
Right.
It's been planted. It's your tree planted on the tree line on the sidewalk. Correct? So look at the way it has been maintained, and they have a clear policy in place. Right? And how do we plant them? How do we maintain them? More importantly, we don't seem to have a policy at that, or maybe there is a policy which is not effective, which is not working. Clearly, it's not working, as I can see.
Right.
Okay, so that's a policy level. That there the change needs to happen. That look at the greens as well and bring the landscape architects at the forefront of this policy making. At a smaller level, I am facing situations where I would say, I don't know if you want to call it competition, where people who own nurseries, who supply plants, they say कि हम भी landscape करते हैं.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, I agree that yes, designing a garden is a part of, is a type of work that landscape architects do.
Right.
But again, as we discussed, it's not about only beautifying a place. That word is very dangerous.
Yeah.
Everything else goes out of the window. correct? All the sensibility or sensitivity that you apply to nature or ecology, that is just, it becomes non-existent.
Correct.
So they said कि हम भी landscape करते हैं. So we give end-to-end solution. मतलब we have plants and we plant it on the site. That is
Grow भी
landscape.
करते हैं, supply भी करते हैं.
हाँ, और maintain भी करेंगे ना, AMC भी करेंगे आपका. Correct. Now that is a direct challenge to me.
Right.
So the client will say that, okay, no, this guy is going to do everything. Then why do I need you?
Correct.
There, that education awareness again comes into the picture. Now I invest my time, my energy, to tell the client. For that, I have to have the best of the intentions and patience.
Right.
That, okay, if I can make this guy understand, I have no issues. The nursery guy supplying plants. Obviously, I'll buy plants from him. I'm not going to grow my own plants or launch my own nursery. Yeah. But we have to come to the forefront, whether it is at the policy level or at the individual client level. And again, educate the person, have representations, strong representations. Like, for example, we have the ISOLA group. As a group also, I think I'm not involved in the day-to-day activities, but then I'm sure from what I come to know from my colleagues is there are efforts now which are in place to have access to the policy makers, to bring about a change, which is very much required. Correct. There has to be policies. See, it's not viable to also say that, okay, the authorities should do everything and then also maintain it. I don't think that may be a way. Maybe a way out could be, discussing possibilities like, can these areas, certain stretches, whichever you want, the public areas I'm talking about, can they be designated or deputed to all the corporates, let's say, small, big, medium, jaise bhi ho. Or you want to take up that small patch, and it's been done in some places in the city, which are also working for quite some time. Jahan pe unka office, so for example, if Pidilite has an office based in Sieves area, then they have taken up one patch and they said, okay, we maintain this area. We do our own logo advertisement, whatever it is, for commercial purpose, we maintain. I would say even that is okay.
That is okay, correct.
At least
something is happening.
Correct. So those kind of discussions have to happen at the policy level, and at the individual level, yes, we have to make people understand wherever possible that so this is very important.
This one very interesting question that I have. Often as designers, we are trained to respond quickly, to draw, to propose, to solve. But landscape is not an empty canvas. It already comes with a lot of things. Before any design intervention begins, there is a quieter process. We call it as reading the landscape. So, from your perspective, what is it to read a landscape before designing it?
Reading a landscape is to not look at it as a blank canvas, like I said. Okay.
Correct.
I think in this process it involves, or let's say why this is important. First of all, is to avoid any future issues. I would say there is one way of looking at it.
Right.
Okay. To make sure that whatever is been done or whatever we design also survives and thrives. Not just survives but thrives also. Okay. Now there could be a case of whether it is a project where you are working on what type of land you are working on. What is the history of the land? First thing what we also try to do in our projects is, especially if the project is of outside the city, in the outskirts, in rural areas or greenfield projects. Then we did something in Nasik where the client was also very cooperative and very understanding. And we looked at the various layers of the site. We looked at the history of the land there, what was happening before. And that gives us clues as to what grows here, what will not grow here, what will work here, what may not work over here. Okay. And then looking at these various layers, as I also spoke, the land topography, okay, the slopes. Ultimately, see, any project that comes, they want to also build something. Okay. So there's an architect involved, or maybe we also design. So we say that let's do this process right from the beginning. We tell the architects, no, you don't do anything right now. I'll tell you where the building is to be placed. Okay. I'll suggest.
Okay.
So in that project, we could actually do that. So we said that we will advise you where to place the house. Let's say.
Okay.
I said, don't start with your sketching and drawing and mood boards. Don't do that. Okay. So we didn't do any of that also. We started with analysis of the site in the true sense. So we looked at the slopes. We looked at contour, the slope analysis, buildable slopes, non-buildable slopes, what area is suitable for which kind of activity. We looked at how water flows. Where will water collect? Is there a scope to do that? You know, and where there is an active stream, are there any signs which we can see on site? And we often get to see these signs on barren sites, non-developed sites. We get to see these signs. There was a stream also nearby. So obviously it was very, very obvious for us also to understand that. Then, how the land looks in different seasons through GIS mapping, you can do that now. So looking at all these layers, looking at the soil and everything, then looking at the vegetation, where the vegetation has grown, what kind of vegetation has grown, okay, and then advise where to place the house and how to treat this land. So that process which we could do there, so that helped to get the desired output where the landscape really thrived, did well, and it sort of supported the natural systems. So it's like if you can diagnose the problem, okay, and read the symptoms, then you can give a solution. Let's say in the medical terms. Correct. So you have to be able to diagnose the issue there, or it's not necessary that every time there's an issue, but at least you have to understand the land, because you are going to do something which is directly going to be on the land.
Correct.
Many times, even let's say even from architecture point of view, I always try just to try to make my architect friends understand. I tell them, if you place the building in the way of its natural stream, then you have to do all kinds of engineering to solve the problem, which is going to add to the cost. Right? Why do you want to get into trouble and then do problem solving?
Right.
What if we can avoid the problem in the first place? Correct. What if I can tell you how you can reduce on your retaining wall costs?
Correct.
What if I can tell you that how you can avoid making big channels and gutters on the site and trying to divert the water? What if I can tell you that your building foundation will be protected if you build it over here and you don't build it in the path of a major stream on your site? Correct. So of course, there are challenges like the clients have some whims and fancies at times that no, मुझे तो ये ऐसे ही बनाना है.
The cost of saving is much lesser than what the cost they get in return of the sales and everything. So
the cost of saving, the savings part is always applied to the consultant's fees.
Correct.
Okay. Not
on the execution.
On the execution. So when you give, so basically that's what. So what I said is we are trying to do is we are trying to educate clients, and since we also do architecture along with landscape, we do interiors and architecture and landscape. So we always advise them that you try and give this time to us. This is important, and luckily these 1 or 2 projects have happened where we could do this, which we try to showcase to the client in the first meeting. We tell them, see, this is what we do. Some of them are interested, some of them are not interested, some of them don't understand. That's okay.
Correct.
Okay. But even if out of 10, 2 projects this happens, at least 2 happened, na? Because you tried. आप कोशिश ही नहीं करते तो कुछ नहीं होता था.
Correct.
So we have to tell them that okay, don't look at this as a blank canvas where I'm going to come and impose my ideas on this.
Right.
This is Renaissance or level thought, I call it. Okay, or the modernist period, where it's my intention and my thoughts and my ambitions put on the on the ground. I want to dictate what happens. So the moment you take a back seat, or you make your ambitions or your ego take a back seat, and say no, the land, the lay of the land, the nature, the ecology, the trees, these are the, let's say, the front runners of this project. Then only you can be you can make sure that you are contributing to the natural systems, and facilitating or helping them behave the way they should, instead of creating a blockage there. So reading this land and the climate, this is very, very important.
So when we talk about diagnosing the land or diagnosing the problem, the site study we call it as, there is a generational contrast that we see today. In today's times, most of the site readings are based on satellite maps or GIS layers that we have. All these techniques provide us the technical data and everything. But earlier generations used to spend more time physically on site and analyzing the site. So what do you feel that how does it differ from each other? The modern today's site analysis, which we do on computers majorly, versus it used to be done by the previous generations.
So there are pros and cons in both the processes. Okay. So what the earlier generations could achieve was through experience.
Correct.
Okay. Experience in two sense. There are two things to this experience again. One experience is the number of years they've put in to go through the process of being on the site, observing things. Okay. And observing, like, let's say, what kind of trees are there on the site. The first observation, let's say.
Right.
That tells you about the kind of soil or the kind of geology, let's say. Okay, what kind of soil must be supporting these kind of trees of a certain size. That is also important. How well or how big the tree will grow, whether it is fruiting or not, or flowering or not. It can tell you about the climate. It can tell you about the wind, right? Views and vistas to hai, that obviously will get on, that information will get on site. So that is one experience. The other experience is physically what do you experience at that point of time when you're on site. No microclimate, let's say.
Right.
Okay. So and then I think the previous generation, because my mentor, the architect under whom I trained for 6 years, and he trained under Charles Correa. He had a very keen eye for detail and observation. Observation skills at that of that generation is completely different. It is, I must admit, it is not there in me also to the extent. And the problem is that with the newer generation,
they have everything ready-made.
They have everything. Everything is on the computer. Everything is digitally available. So somewhere the risk in that is you assume that whatever is there on the GIS or on digitally, whatever you're doing is 100% correct. And then you are at the risk of not going through the experiential part of being on the site and then reading the site firsthand on site, because we are relying too much on the technology.
Correct.
The previous generation guys, they would tell you that if we had this technology combined with our skills, then that would have been a complete game changer in their projects also. I mean, they would say that we could have done things better, in a better way. These tools were not available to us.
Right.
Correct. Now the tools are available, but the patience and the trouble, we lack in the trouble of taking the trouble of being on the site and seeing things on site. So that so as I said, there's a advantage that with the people who the previous generation who were who have that sense of sensing things on site. Because I noticed this because one of the senior architects I was with, and he he used to, seeing a tree on site, he would say that, okay, there is laterite in this soil.
Oh.
But I don't see laterite in the soil. Because when the soil testing report comes, there is laterite. There is a lateritic deposit which is present, and hence that tree is growing over here. Now, this on the GIS you don't
see until the site report comes.
But correct. Now on the site, I don't know the history of the land, correct. Or I don't know the larger topography of, let's say. Okay, but they also had this sense of geography where they know that where they are standing and whether it is in a valley or a mountain top or how far is the river, and they would also tell you standing on the site that, okay, this is a buildable slope, you can build here, not there, or this area is where this activity can happen. This is also something that they could sense. Now with technology we are doing it more accurately, or rather we could say that there is a proof. Technology gives you evidence. Right. You can prove it. You can right. Showcase, or you can put it on the screen and then explain it to somebody without being there on the site.
Right.
So I think that is the difference. So both are advantages in one way, but both have losing out on the other.
Correct. So your so many years of experience must have exposed you to a lot of sites and projects, but very few of them must have left very imprint, or it must have stayed with you for a long. So would you like to share your experience or a landscape which is built or natural? It has deeply moved you or stayed with you?
So I'm not a very it's very funny if I say I'm a landscape architect, but then I'm in a way not very enthusiastic about doing a lot of landscape design and designing things, and I like things to look natural the way they are. Okay, so not a fan of very heavy manicured landscapes. Okay. I like when you say landscape, since it encompasses everything that is there around us, the entire unbuilt and includes the built in it. So I'm more into the natural landscapes. I like the landscapes in a natural way. Of course, if you ask me anyone, I'm sure for many of us it's a difficult choice. But one thing which I always will remember is something which gets imprinted at a very young age. And so I used to stay in Warsaw. Okay, so I'm not very alien to this part of the city. And so there, from my house, I used to go to the beach. And on the way to the beach, so I'm in a building. I'm staying in a building. I'm surrounded by houses. Okay, but the beach is, let's say, 10 minutes walk. Okay. Between the colony where I used to stay and the beach, so there was this coconut grove. I didn't know what it was called at that time. Okay, so but I used to see that place has a completely different feel or a different vibe to it. It is not like the neighborhood garden. It is not like my building compound area where children play. It is not like the Warsaw village. It's not like the Koli village, the settlement. It's a very different kind of place where you have rows of coconut trees, large tall coconut trees, and casting that shadow. And it's that transition space, you could say, between the colony and the beach. And when you pass through that, so that particular image has stayed with me forever. And
it must be completely what do you call, transitional, as you said, and it must be cutting you off from
two edges. Correct. So it was not. So there are places in Warsaw, if you go. So Yari Road area, there's a road, and then there is a row of buildings, and then there's a beach. So after 4-5 buildings, there is a gap, like a lane that you can access directly to the beach. That is different from this experience. What I used to go through, the route that I used to go through. Okay, because my house was a little away from the beach, not on the beach side. So I had the opportunity to go through this place every time, going to the beach, and going to the beach was, like you said, access to parks or access to greens was a part of my daily life.
Correct.
Now I realize this. So going to the beach was a kind of a daily activity for me. It was not like abhi to, now I don't know, I'm away from the beach also.
Now?
I don't remember when was the last time I went to a beach now. Because to go to a beach, now I travel outside the city. We go to Konkan and then visit a beach. But visiting a beach was a part of my daily life, building sand castles, and these are things actually I've done as a child. And that is one thing. But when we again talk about landscape or these areas, beaches or mountains or whatever, we are always looking at it in the daytime. I have the memories of night time also about the beach and the sea, because the building, there's the coconut groves and then there's the sea. At night time, the sea is the beach and the sea is as scary as it is beautiful in the daytime.
Correct.
So at night time, what I remember is, in the day I remember seeing things. At night I remember hearing the sea. Right. And it is actually scary. It is not very fun or romantic as it is in the daytime.
Correct.
Because at the night it is the sound of the wind, the sea, the waves hitting the shore, then the sound of wind cutting through the coconut grove. And it is during the day also, throughout the day, it is that the salt and fine sand that is all over you when you are close to the beach. Right. So see, now I am able to dissect and let's say communicate better. Correct. because of my training.
Correct.
But these are things or experiences that everybody goes through.
Absolutely.
So this is the dynamic nature of landscape, let's say, day and night, what is happening, and something which is happening continuously through senses. What do you feel? I feel the salt on my skin, the sand on my skin. What do I hear? I hear the sea. You know the sea is close to you.
Right.
What do I see? I see the beach, I see the sand, I see the coconut grove. So this no, as a complete package, because we have all been to many places, seen mountains and rivers and maybe Ladakh, Europe and Singapore. But this has stayed with me because of the entire package of experiences or senses that I've gone through.
Yeah, it was great having you here and to understand your honest perspective on landscape architecture. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much.
I hope you all have realized how landscape improves your quality of life. So for more such conversations about the field, do like, share and subscribe to the channel.